her sister, and I just wanted to throw that out there real quick, and that I'm thinking about you. And
right, Lloyd.
Coming up next is the artist. Ooh. Who is it? Coming up next is McLean's Couch with Koei Bliss and DeBrahma Bull. I still don't know what they're talking about tonight, but their phone lines open immediately right after this at 9 p.m. tonight on BeExposedRadio.com. But right now, I want to get into Grey's Anatomy's Jesse Williams, who is going through a divorce right now from his, I'm going to call her long-suffering wife.
You don't like her, or you don't like him?
I like both of them. And I thought she was there from the beginning of his career. But apparently they just reached a settlement, and I think this is like one of the, if you think about all the celebrities that have been through a divorce and had to do child support and spousal support and things like that, this is like one of the best settlements I've ever seen.
How much she
And he's on Grey's Anatomy, and it's in its 11th, no, like 20 something. I think this is season 20 or something like that.
How much did she get, Monty?
Give me a second. I got 3 more minutes in this break. I gotta stretch this out. I'm running out of story. Let me talk. God damn, I want to add some filler. Jesse filed legal documents which state that he will pay her $100,000 for the child and spousal support, in addition to another $60,000 to cover all her legal fees. So the paperwork stipulates that he will pay her $160,000 total in 3 installments from his first 3 checks.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
In a second. Oh, we all live. Oh, we. I hear the game clap. Where the clap at? You got me. Oh. Welcome, everybody to Sunset Soul. I wasn't ready. I'm used to the applause, the little crowd thing. It wasn't working, so it didn't want to clap for me. But it's okay. It's okay. Thank y'all all for tuning in on this awesome Thursday evening. I hope everybody had a good day. The weather, how was the weather today? The weather was pretty good. I think I had a pretty good day. Did some running around. But I have with me today Mr. Who? My co-host, Miss Lisha G.
Y'all miss me?
Finally. She had been MIA for the past 2 weeks?
Man, I miss y'all for real. Y'all just don't know. I did. I mean, I was on the beach. It was kind of nice.
I mean, she was on the beach, and I hate it, but you know, and then had company and everything. But that's okay. I mean,
what do you do that you just lounge on the beach for 3 weeks? What kind of job?
I work hard.
Really? Did y'all see the pictures?
In the laboratory.
The pictures did not look like she was working hard at all. If anything, I mean, you look very relaxed.
Who travels to a beach for a laboratory?
The office is at Virginia Beach.
I mean, Virginia has office.
It's called Blessings and Favor.
Really?
Surely goodness and mercy.
I also had with me Mr. Nate, host of the Artist Exchange radio show that comes on Fridays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 12
Well, she looked it up this time.
I looked it up. Oh, I'm inviting. Actually watch. Nate's show comes on. So that's the next show. I didn't realize that Nate show comes on after hours. He's the next, the next show. I for whatever reason, I keep forgetting that he is the next show. But anyway, I have Nate here with me. Co-host was here with me on the week before last. Hollywood, and his other, what's the other co-host name? The girl that's with you. Zakia. Awesome show. Check it out. Last week we had Pastor Pendelton and Bishop LeVar Harris with us while my co-host was out, maxing and relaxing on the beach. And the show was just about, your thoughts on some media issues, one of which was one was a viewer who had posed a question about should you or should you not tell your mate if you had an affair, if you had decided to cut all ties with the person outside of your marriage and rededicate yourself to your marriage. And I think it was split. I think it was 2 and 2. I think me and LeVar both said depending on the situation and the person that you're with. That differs because everybody can't take it. Some people would prefer you to leave them blind.
So nobody said no, they wouldn't tell.
Did you? No, they said he wouldn't cheat.
He wouldn't cheat.
He wouldn't cheat.
That's not answering the question.
Right.
That's my. I couldn't. I'd be lying to you if I gave you one of the answers.
Okay.
I just wouldn't cheat.
I don't think anybody said. I said I wouldn't tell because I know the person that I'm dealing with. Like depending on the person. If I'm dealing with a person that's very open, you know, and we are very communicative, and that's how we do, then yes, I will communicate that. But I said that's not an answer for today. Like I can't.
Most men can't handle that.
And that
they don't
was
snap
where we
back
went.
from that.
That's exactly where we went last week. And they went into the whole. That was when you saw Pastor Pendelton banging the table talking about.
Oh yes, I was upset about that. I was like, he is emotional.
Wife, and I was like, all right,
he on his way. By the way, he just shot us out.
Like, yeah, hopefully, he gets here before we get good into the conversation because I like to get his take on some things. Also, we talked about what was her name? Tara Sense had a post up about why we shouldn't marry for love. Really? It's not even what he did. It's a smile. It's after. Tara Sense talked about why we shouldn't marry for love, and that took up majority of the show because that went on and on and on about.
I sure wish I was there.
I'm here for what she said. I understand, and I don't think we really got a chance to truly get our point across, myself or LeVar, because they kept saying that we were leaving love out of the equation, which that's not what we were doing. No, we were just saying it is not the total sum of the situation.
So wait, okay.
That's not what we were saying. We were saying the fact that love was not first.
From outside looking in, it sounded like it was not a clear understanding of what the opposite side was saying. No, I'll take that back. It sounded like Keisha and LeVar knew what you guys were saying, but you guys weren't hearing what they were saying.
Well, if that was because I can't speak for this gentleman that was sitting over there, but I was making reference to the actual question and the post and blog that she made reference to.
Right.
Everybody else got off topic.
Well, it seemed like yeah, because everybody else was talking about after you've gotten married, but the statement was marrying for love,
right? And I shouldn't marry,
and I mean
just for love.
But it's okay to love somebody and decide that while I love you, I can't marry you because we can't build together.
And that's but the love has to then be first, in my opinion, because you could love somebody and not take any of that stuff, but if the love isn't at the forefront, you're doomed from the beginning.
But if love is at the forefront,
wait a minute, I'm sorry, Nicole, there's no picture. They said they can't see us. It was probably attached to that clap that we ain't get.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute, y'all. I just invited all these people. We here. We here. Can you see us now?
Yes.
I don't.
Lisa said she was on topic. She was on topic. Thank you. Is what she said.
I didn't say anybody.
I'm just reading.
I was on the topic of the blog entry. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, but I think y'all missed it. I think y'all were talking a lot about finances and a lot about if they were established, but I think the point of the post was to identify whether or not we can build together. So if I have idea but no drive, I need somebody with drive, and even though I love you, I know that I can't push you to the place that I need you to push to. And realistically, if I really love you, I have to say I'm not the one that you should marry.
And that's part of my point. Like, love will make you make sound decisions. Financial mindedness will make you make decisions that's based on, this person could, they could possibly be somebody because of what they can possibly do for the relationship. Like, that's, for me, and I was only speaking for myself, love has to be at the forefront. I've tried it other ways, and it has to be at the forefront. Yeah,
but I just think that the lady was saying love ain't enough to make the decision to get married, and that's all. I think that's really all she was saying. I can be in love totally, but if we don't have what it takes to make the situation work, to actually build, because relationship is building. You have to build a relationship.
Lisa says she agrees with you.
Love is very akin to faith. Because most times you with somebody and they don't have those things right away.
But that's why we, especially women, we have a tendency to rest on the potential in people. And I love you so much, and you have so much potential.
There are people that is getting married because strictly because of what that person has in that moment, and the potential of what that person has is out of the question.
Now that word is the word that I kept saying. I'm tired of us using, and I think at a certain age that word becomes like, I'm sick of using it. From teenage up, you will hear women say, but he got the potential to be, and that's cool, and that's what I was saying. You know, I'm not knocking the potential, and I'm gonna grind it out with you. If I love you, I'm gonna grind it out with you. I'm just not walking down the aisle.
It's not enough
until we are. And then, I'm sure that
but for me, we don't have to be at that place. I just need to know that you want to get to that place, and I need to know that you have the tools, or you're willing to develop the tools that we need to get to that place. If I can love you all day, but if you have no plan to go back to school,
well, you shouldn't be. If that's a
I can't marry
point to you, then you should not have dated that person. Like, you should have found that out in those first couple dates. And you should not have went to the point where
you falling in love. But no, but sometimes things develop. Just like y'all kept saying, stuff happens. Stuff happens.
And I can be in my feelings in love by myself.
Do you know how many people have been in love and found out later on that their spouse didn't want to have babies?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, because people will say whatever to get you to that place.
You know the difference.
Especially in the beginning.
You know the difference. You know the difference when that person's around children. And you just choose to be like, you know if that person don't want children.
I don't think it's that clear all the time.
It's very clear.
But Lisa said, I think we just didn't agree. And that's okay. It doesn't mean we didn't understand. And that's cool. And the reason why I brought it up, because I wanted to, also give Lisha a chance to speak her piece on it, because it was kind of in depth. But also because Yada, he is another blog. I think he does
I thought that was me, because that's my nickname, right?
Yada?
Yeah.
Oh no. He is like a vegan, one of those woke, cultural. You know what it is, right? I'm using woke because that's the new slang for
smart.
No, spiritual, conscious.
Yes. Conscious, that's a good way to put it. So he had put a post, he had put up an old post, and he said, if a woman asks you, what are you bringing to the table, build her a table. And he's going to talk about,
he said, if a woman asks you what you bring to the table, ask her to build the table.
No, he said, build her a table. And when she's in awe about the fact that you just build her a table, break the table down and then build her a chair with the same wood. I literally just
that's a good distraction. That's so much. That's so extra. Like
he said,
you ain't got to do all that.
You just got.
But listen, he said
you from the lack of potential.
You still ain't answer my question.
That ain't potential. I didn't build the table,
but you still ain't bring nothing to the table.
Exactly. What did he say? What does he?
And that's not the table I'm talking about. You just made a whole separate table. I got my own table. I need you to bring some stuff to. You gonna build yourself a table.
It's supposed to be about your own table. That's what I'm saying. His position is a man is supposed to provide. And that the table is, well, you're using that.
Well, what good is the table if it ain't nothing on it?
That's just like saying,
but the table is about stability. It's about the fact that structure.
I can bring you bills, but how you gonna pay those bills? Like
you're missing the point. No, he said, he said this separates boys from men. Boys talk and men show action. Save yourself stress by not going into a relationship when you cannot provide. So he's using the table as a form of, stability. Yeah. You're saying, what are you bringing to the table? And he's saying, who I am, I'm going to build you the surface. That's the root of the situation, of our situation currently, is the table. So that's what he used. So that's what made me,
that's a stupid question anyway.
What do you bring it to the? But that's common. Well, basically, that's what we were saying last week. I mean, if it was the woman,
well, no, that's what you were saying.
No, that's what Tara Sense was saying, and I was reading what she said. As far as not the marry for love. So then, what she's saying is, what are you bringing to the table.
I didn't get that though. I really didn't get it that way. I didn't get it financial, none of that. The way it sounded to me, it was, if you're gonna marry somebody, it got to be more than just how you feel. It has to based off of your compatibility and ability to get to a certain place. I might be fine living in a row house in Baltimore City paying rent. Like, that might be where I want to go. I just need a man that's going to keep a steady job. If that's what works.
Right. Well,
that's what works.
That's studies, and that's what Lisa just put. Stability equals the table. Right. That's supposed to be. That's what the metaphor was for.
That still ain't answer the question.
It still don't answer the question.
Bringing the table itself.
No.
What are you bringing to the
table?
Table
Could be from the thrift shop. It could be.
No, he went and chopped the tree. He said, "Go to a tree.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Some wood and build her a table."
The ability to provide is totally different than your decision to provide for me. So you built the table. That's awesome.
Sound like you got a lot of ideas.
Right. But what does that have to do with me? That's not my table.
He built it for you.
I already have a table. That's why I asked you to bring something to it.
But that's what I'm saying. Well, his position is the man is supposed to provide the table.
Says a lot about you.
Because you coming in with a table, you're not supposed to have a table. You supposed he's saying that the man is supposed to provide the structure.
But she's a whole person. Why wouldn't
I have a table?
Well, some people eat on crates. Listen,
it sound like the man that tried to build you that table.
Yeah.
What to build a table? He might feel like you are eating on crates. That's irrelevant. I think the table means stability.
Okay. I mean, it definitely means stability.
It's we, not me. That's the problem. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like he's bringing credit.
Oh, okay.
No doubt.
Okay. Listen. We're not gonna go back into that Tara sentence. That took up the show last week.
Overseer Pendleton said the ability to provide does not mean he's willing to provide.
He built the table for her.
And that's what I'm saying. No, he built the table to show her that he can
build the table. He can provide
that still didn't answer. He didn't meet her need. Her need was, you show me, tell me what you're bringing to the table. By you showing me your own table, regardless of how you got the table, he built the table.
Was of importance to you. So he's giving you
the table. Is a
territorial issue.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it is.
So that's what.
Look, we gotta go to commercial. We just started. we literally just started, and we're gonna wait for Pastor Pendelton to come on so we can get into the Jim Carrey topic. But there's some other things I want to discuss when we get. We got a lot to talk about, and I want to thank everybody who was tuned in. Ray, Lisa, Pastor Pendleton. I seen a few people tune in. Quincy, Jerome, Mook, my cousins. I appreciate y'all checking in, and we will be right back. Stay tuned. Go get something to drink, something to snack on. We'll be here when you get back.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him.
You can't even see the top of that thing!
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K, check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9/11.
Coming to y'all soon.
Ladies, are you in need of the best quality hair extensions, a cute outfit, or that perfect pair of shades? Pink Ice Products can cover you from head to toe, from flawless weaves to apparel. Visit us online at pinkiceproducts.bigcartel.com. We're located at 3000 Old Alabama Road, 119-303, Alpharetta, Georgia. Or give us a call at 470-488-6484. Come on in and check out Pink Ice Products today.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
So we're going to get a little bit into the album with Miss Amira and learn the basis of it, the Banji soul of it all. So let us know, first of all, what is Banji soul?
Banji soul is basically just real. It's real soul. It's real. It's not cut down. It's not watered down. It's, you know, how as hot as it came off of my mind and my heart. That's what it is. And a lot of the times I get a little tangy, you know, tangy, bangy, ratchet, whatever how you like to put it, classify it. But I like to say bangy, you know, because I'm classy.
Bangy is a little classier.
It's a little classier. That's got your pinky up.
Right.
You got your pinky up with that.
Okay, we got to keep the B's, the bougie, the bangy.
Yeah.
All right.
So she's created her own lane, Banji Soul. So let us know how that is covered in the album that released on the 9th of this month, right?
Yes. Well, I did it to a number of industry tracks, including like the Beatles Come Together, and I did a Lindsay Lohan joint. You remember the Confessions of a Broken Heart?
Okay.
And a lot of stuff I aimed to like change the theme that was originated, or just to. It was my therapy.
Okay.
It was my therapy.
So that's why this is a mixtape.
Yes.
Okay, because you did a lot of remakes. Okay, I got you. The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
I don't like stuff in my mouth. It's after what you was talking about.
It's in this commercial closing.
No, seriously, I don't. I'm a germaphobe. Everything on your body is dirty.
Everything.
So I'm damn sure I ain't gonna put it in my mouth. That's probably why I'm single. Thank you.
Is there a lies button?
Somebody slapped me on my face with one before. I had to get up and go wash my face. That was done. I said, "Don't! How dare you? You filthy ass animal! Get the hell out of my house!" It was a problem because it's like clearly you don't remember when I met you. I checked your teeth to make sure you had them all. Because that's a problem for me too. Your dental hygiene. Because if you're missing a tooth in the front, that means you don't brush your teeth at all. I'm sorry. And I know Jabril just had that tooth missing and all, but if I would have met him on the road and, you know, he would have been trying to, like, I'd have been like, what's going on?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
We're back. Thank you so much for those who stay tuned in. Before the commercial break, we was finishing up the conversation about last week's show and Tara Sense about the not marrying for love. But this week, I saw a post, and I posted it on the Sunset Soul page. There was a 13-year-old boy and his girlfriend, and he had posted a picture. He titled the picture "After Sex." Photo, after sex picture or something like that. I think he just put after sex. I can't remember what it was labeled. Anyway, in the comment section, people was going off. I mean, they just, you know, he only 13. It was him and the girlfriend in the picture. Both of them look, you could tell they kids. I mean, they really look young. And people like, you know, that's ridiculous. And when I was 13, I was doing this, or I was just, you know, trying to get my homework done, this, that, and the other. So it stood out to me. For me, well, what I posted was the statistics, because right after that, I saw the clip, the link to the 2 million new cases of, and this like beyond numbers that they've ever seen before. It's been the highest now of chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis, and between the age bracket of 15 to 24.
So how many of these cases are reoccurring?
No, it's 20 million.
I mean, 20 million.
That's right, but this is 2 new cases. So, I mean, 2 million new cases, like, within this year.
That's what I'm saying. But of the 2 million new cases,
I don't know
how many of them are reoccurring?
I'm not sure. If it was reoccurring, they just have it labeled as new. And so that's what I put. I'm not going to argue. So you were saying people forget. Oh, how quick people forget. I wasn't
these
doing the
diseases did not establish themselves in the last year. People have been getting, those were the diseases people were getting at the time. The problem is there are way more people on the earth. There are way more children here right now. So of course children are going to experiment. But if their parents aren't talking to them, if their parents aren't giving them, like sitting I have an aunt that she had 3 boys. She had a bowl of condoms on her table for as long as I can remember. And parents aren't doing that because they still feel as though children don't know.
Wait a minute,
So
like
they
condoms
don't.
on the table like candy?
Yes. She had 3 very handsome boys,
Well,
and
that's true. Okay, well,
she put them on the table because she didn't want diseases or children coming home.
That's a conversation piece.
And it's just,
I mean,
people still think children are dumb and don't know.
But 13?
Yeah.
What was you doing at 13?
I wasn't.
Not at 13.
I wasn't doing that at 13, and if I was, I wouldn't have been putting no pictures up.
But we all knew that there were people that were.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, at 13,
You knew what a vagina was and a penis was at 13.
Well, at 13, you knew who was giving it up and who wasn't.
Right. Well, they seem to have a lot to say about it. My only issue, like I said, is awareness, and I feel like scolding the kids ain't gonna help, because at the end of the day, it was an after sex photo. So ain't no sense in me coming into their inbox giving the whole,
You're not preventing anything.
Huh?
They're not preventing anything.
No,
by
not at
being
all.
mad or
So that's why I put the statistics. I said, well, at least they'll know, and because of, and I didn't realize that, like 15 to 24, like that's the target age. Like that is the age where you getting all. I mean, I knew when we was growing up, you know, it was certain things, but to that extent, I didn't realize the numbers were that high. So anyway, that stood out to me, and I wanted to make, you know, kind of bring that up. There was a viewer question, and I didn't get a chance to get answered last week. I was hoping that Pastor Pendelton would get here. Maybe he can add on to it when he get here, but I could ask y'all now. There was a guy, and he is a Muslim, and he had on, wait a minute, Rachel said, I have a plan for my son. When he starts getting curious, he's going to wake up to pictures of penises with warts on.
That doesn't
Right.
stop.
But listen, I said the same thing at one point in time,
Please
that I was
don't
going to
do
put
that.
up.
Like,
Why?
that's stupid as
Why?
a parent to do that.
Why?
Because you're not teaching your child anything. That's
To
not
show
teaching-
the
No.
effects of STDs?
No, it's not, because
Because
they
they
still
pretty
want
much-
to think that
yeah.
they're invincible.
Exactly.
Children think that
They
they're
think that it's not going to happen to them.
So what's the better way to route? What's the better route?
Constantly have conversations. Make your children comfortable with talking to you.
And they're
when
going to
they
be
have a problem.
irritated. They're not going to
Yeah.
want to hear about it, but they hear you.
Right, and just make it comfortable for them to have a conversation with you, opposed to demanding that they talk to you. You know, because then they go to their friends who are just as stupid as they are.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna put the question on the floor because we got 2 minutes before the next commercial break. So he's a Muslim. He went to a church and he had on African attire when he went in, and he was trying to decide on exactly which way he wanted to go. He Muslim, that spirituality is all he had known, so he was open to learning new things. So when the preacher began to pray, they got on their knees, but the guy did not want to get on his knees. He wasn't irate, he wasn't disrespectful, he didn't make a scene, he just didn't want to get down on his knees. And when they prayed, he didn't say what they said, he just kind of sat quietly. Supposedly the preacher had an issue with that, called the man out, and wound up basically embarrassing this man and making the man the focal point of his message, and the guy left. And the question, well, he wanted to know, like, what am I missing? I thought that I could come here and they would tell me, or at least inform me on if I'm in the wrong religion, what I should do.
They did.
That was they informed him?
Yes, they did.
How did they do that?
By their actions.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this. We don't have enough information to make a judgment on it.
I mean,
because realistically, all we have is his perception. And when you walk into a new space, you automatically assume that everybody's looking at you, everybody's judging you, everybody's wondering why you're doing something different. And sometimes we have the ability to hear things that was not necessarily intended. So we can't automatically assume that it was as bad as
if you're someone coming, and this has happened to me several times. If you're just coming into a space like that, people should be welcoming to you.
True, and that's what's not happening.
True.
We're not being welcome.
No.
But look, we got to go to a commercial break. When we come back, I want to get your opinion on it. We're going to continue talking about this. A Muslim man walked into I'm assuming apostolic or some sort of Pentecostal church and was disrespected. Baptist, I don't know. It wasn't his religion, and was disrespected, and he wanted to find out what he had done wrong, basically. Give me your thoughts on that when we come back. Stay tuned.
Ladies, are you in need of the best quality hair extensions, a cute outfit, or that perfect pair of shades? Pink Ice products can cover you from head to toe, from flawless weaves to apparel. Visit us online at pinkiceproducts.bigcartel.com. We're located at 3000 Old Alabama Road, 119-303, Alpharetta, Georgia. Or give us a call at 470-488-6484. Come on in and check out Pink Ice products today.
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show. Now here's one little speech I'm going to give you before I get into the next article. Here's what I want to tell you. Still, fear is big business. Fear is big business. I'm not telling you not to be alarmed by what you're seeing. I'm not telling you not to be concerned. What I am saying is not to buy into the notion that we should be afraid. You should be informed. You should be aware. You should start educating yourself about some things. I don't have the solutions. I don't have the answer. I wish I could say that if you did X, Y, and Z, you might not get shot by the police. I wish I could tell you that, but I can't. But what I can say is just start making yourself aware of what's going on, but don't be so consumed by what you're seeing that you become afraid, that you don't want to go out. Or you become numb. That's a good point, Nate. Nate said, or you become numb to it, like you just don't care. So we need you to just continue to be in touch with what's going on, but educate your family, talk to your sons, talk to your daughters, because it's not just limited to men. We know from Sandra Bland, she was a young woman who was killed. And we don't want to say, we don't know all the details behind what happened. No, the fact is that person's life still matters. They still have rights. They should not just be killed dead before they even get a trial. Okay, that's the point. They deserve a trial at least, but they can't even make it to the jail cell to get a trial, to be tried. They're being killed even before arrest. Terrible. So that's my soapbox.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
We are back. Thank you. You did it. For the commercial break, we were talking about a friend of mine, Muslim man, who went into some sort of Christian church, well, Apostolic, Pentecostal, Baptist, I'm not quite sure, but he was disrespected or embarrassed or whatever because he did not follow the guidelines. He was not rude. He didn't say anything out of the way. He just did not comply. He didn't pray on his knees the way others did, and he didn't recite or repeat what it was that they told him to do. But he was there to learn about the faith, and he was confused, and he was like, I don't understand basically what just happened. What did I do wrong, because I didn't want to do what they did. Mr. Benton, hi Mr. Benton, we ain't seen you in a while.
Jonathan was in Baltimore actually last week. He was in Baltimore.
Oh, you was?
And he didn't say anything to us.
We got to get you on the show, Mr. Benton. We got to get you here. So what do you feel about that? Maybe you can give me your insight. I told him, I mean, of course, by us being Christians, we go straight to the defense. Every church is not like that. Don't let this experience be your own. What's right here? And here he go. What am I missing, sir?
Nothing. Keep talking. I was just creating that atmosphere.
Oh my goodness.
He was creating.
I told him every church isn't like that. Don't let that one experience deter you from trying another church. I was a member of a church that had people that target or their flock or make you the subject matter of their preached sermon. So that's not strange to me. But I can see how somebody who was not aware, don't know anything about that faith, could feel.
But you just said it. The church did not do it. Individuals in the church that were in the wrong leadership or was trying to be in a leadership role, those are the people that do it. It's not necessarily.
I don't think that it's intentional, and this is not coming to. It's not. I do.
That's a problem.
But what we tend to do as a people, just as human beings, what we do not understand, we automatically shun until we understand it. And most of our churches do not have an understanding of what goes on outside of the religion that they see every day in church on Sunday. And I'm not even classifying that as Christianity, but what you see every Sunday, you have no idea. So we don't necessarily know what preconceived notions they have of Africans. He was in African garb, so they don't know. They don't necessarily know what we don't know what preconceived notions they had of Muslims. They didn't talk to him, so they didn't really know what was going on with them. And if they were really, really, really like apostolic Pentecostal, like you said, half of them probably thought that he was coming in with spirits, and they needed to cast out some demons or something. So I mean, like, you don't necessarily know.
Justify embarrassing the man.
I don't know. I can't say that they embarrassed the man, and I don't think that they did or meant to intentionally.
It was intentional or not. They embarrassed him.
No, we can't say he was embarrassed.
Right,
No, there's a difference.
No,
there's a difference.
Him.
We can't say that because he said that he was embarrassed.
They embarrassed him.
No, what we have to do is go off. He had an experience, and he felt this way.
Being embarrassed.
He felt this way. He has to own the experience that he encountered. We don't know what happened on the other side of the table. A lot of times you talk to people and they walk around and they feel so offended, and you ain't say nothing to them to offend them.
But
now, let's be honest.
Let's be honest that we've all been to many different churches and we've gotten that. It happened to me coming into.
And you're not Muslim. And you didn't have an African attire.
I didn't. I had blonde
so
hair.
why?
That was my experience.
Right. But then that's the thing. You can't tell people come as they are, and then when they come as they are, you
have
put them in a box or just say, oh, well, they have to be. You're judging a person.
But we can't say that that's what happened because we weren't there.
I'm speaking in general because it does. That happens when anybody new comes into a church. I don't care what church it is. It's always going to be one or two people in that church that feel some type of way.
And it happens when anybody new comes into a new job. And it happens anytime somebody new comes into a new spot.
Right,
so that's life.
It's
life. It's natural to not
into a church that's supposed to be not of the world.
No.
Wait a minute.
Wait. Let's stop now because this is the problem that we have. People have this misconceived notion that everything in the church is perfect, and nobody ever said that it was. And there is no example in the Bible of a church that was perfect.
Nobody is saying that. But if somebody's I came into a Baptist church from Catholic churches. We don't carry Bibles to church. It was a problem that I didn't go to their Bible as they inserted. We're used to having a lecture. So we know all the sermons for that year, for that season. We didn't go to church. She had an issue with me not bringing my Bible to church.
Did she express it?
She did.
And that's what she's supposed to do because she doesn't know any different.
But as somebody new coming into church, because you don't know other religions, you should not have that attitude.
And because you don't know whether or not I know what you know, you can't have an expectation of me.
Now, David,
I'm coming into your home, though.
David, he said it happens everywhere.
It does.
Here's my
If you come to my house, I want you to shake it off before you come in, because don't bring no roaches in.
But listen,
but that's rude, though. No, I don't say that to people.
Here's the problem that I have with it. If this would not have been the leader, then I can understand what you're saying. But I'm saying because a leader is supposed to. If you see somebody coming and you don't know what they know, you're right.
That's why
you don't know what, and because you don't know what they know, then you should come with the most simplest form of communication.
I would agree.
Until you know,
I would agree.
And he's a visitor. Period.
I agree.
Not a member.
My only statement is that I can't make an assessment because I wasn't there.
Right.
And I only have one side of the story to go off of, and from that side of the story, I believe that we can only hold him accountable for how he perceived and his response to what he perceived. Now, what he perceived, he should have then been a mature adult, decided that I'm going to leave that alone.
That's wait. No, he left.
He didn't leave. Wait. I'm going to leave it alone. or I'm going to address this issue. Now, if you're going to address the issue, you have to address the issue with the person that you offended.
Not when you are in somebody else's church and you have no idea about this religion.
But you're taking now. But now this is not a issue of religion. This is an issue of adults assuming responsibility.
No, yes, this was a man who walked into a church seeking some information about some other sort of religion.
Here's my question: do we know whether or not he walked in and expressed those things to people?
I don't know if he walked in.
Do we know? No.
Wait, we got phone call.
Express what? What was it?
He expressed about walking in the door.
No, people walk in the door and shoot up everybody in the church nowadays.
Wait, we got a phone call. Yes. Hello.
Am I on the air?
Yes, you're on the air, sir.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
You are on the air, sir.
That's bad.
You have to turn off your...
You gotta cut your phone down.
You have to cut the video off.
Are you here? No? Okay, he hung up. Q, when you call back, you gotta cut your phone off or cut it all the way down.
You can't listen and call in on the same device.
Okay. Okay, so my thing, by me knowing him, that I'm aware of what his goal was. You know, we talked about the situation. Him walking in the door, he walked in with an expectation. He walked in wanting to know about what this religion was, what it is that I'm missing, that you're telling me that it's this gloriousness over here that I'm missing. And you walk in the door, I don't know what you're doing, so until I learn about your religion, I don't want to, okay, I'm sorry, the call is back. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
What's your name, caller?
Something sounds very fraudulent.
Okay.
Yes.
Every Muslim that I've met in my entire life, I'm 40, and they make salat. Salat is Arabic for prayer. Gets down on their knees.
Okay.
So he said that they went down on their knees for prayer, and he chose not to get down on his knees. Something sounds fraudulent because Allah is an Arabic word for God.
Okay.
So something just sounds fraudulent. He ain't get down on his knees. He might have been tricking you.
No, he wasn't, because it wouldn't have been no reason to trick me. I don't think that him not wanting to get down on his knees was not just that he didn't want to pray. He didn't know. You got to remember, he's not aware of what it is that you're getting ready to do.
You're saying it's chopped up.
I'm saying he wasn't aware of what they were getting ready. He knew that they were getting ready to pray. He don't know how or what, or am I supposed to pray while they're supposed to pray? He might have felt that was disrespectful for him to be saying his prayer, whatever they would call, him in Muslim, while they're praying. You don't know what his mindset was of why I'm going to sit out. I am a Christian and I don't always walk up to the prayer line, so it's not, he may not know, he may have not have known that was an option.
You don't just, any intelligent individual, you walking into a new environment, you are watching what's happening. You don't just join in because you don't know what you're getting yourself into, and he may be doing it wrong. So I'm gonna sit and wait and see.
No, I'm still here with you, and I'm listening.
Okay.
When you say a prayer, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what?
When you say a prayer, it doesn't matter what anybody else is praying for. It matters what you yourself are praying for.
It does if you're operating corporately. I would understand why you would want to know what's going on and you would be hesitant to participate corporately. I do understand what you're saying. As a Muslim, he understands about praying and kneeling for prayer, but I do agree that in a new environment, sometimes you don't just jump in with everything. When in Rome, do as the Romans, but sometimes you just take back and
you're just going to watch, especially when you are not familiar with the structure there. You don't know what comes behind after they finish praying on their knees and what are they saying, and he didn't recite what they were reciting, so he decided to sit out, and he did it quietly. But because of him not moving when it was a collective prayer, he got called out. And I don't think in any situation that's okay. I don't think that there was no reason to single this man out.
I need to understand the caller. Did you still have comments?
He gone.
He hung up.
Okay. I can't. I still can't jump on the bandwagon.
I'm gonna speak for myself. And going into new places of worship, it for me it was foreign. So, and I'll equate going down to the altar call. Turn it on. And going down to altar call in the Catholic faith, that's the kind of the equivalent into going to confession.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first week I was there, I didn't go down to the altar call because I didn't feel like I was perfect, but I didn't feel like there was nothing in that moment that I needed prayer for.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't go. And a lot of the, elders of the church were trying to well, you better go on down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt uncomfortable. I felt like I was being pushed to do something that I did not quite understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm speaking from a perspective of being in a new religion or a new church, just trying to learn the ritual of it all,
mm-hmm.
and not knowing what is coming next. And people can be disrespectful because you've been there your whole life, or you've been there 10 years and you know what the protocol is. This person doesn't. And most times people come to church because they're in a broken state.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something wrong. In most cases, that's what normally happens. Somebody comes there because somebody's not just necessarily visiting, but they're in a broken state. So they're coming to church to be fed or filled up.
Can you agree that there are a lot of times when people are in a broken state that they misread and misinterpret things that are going on around them because they already have a negative mindset coming in the door?
Because you're in the faith and because this is your home, you should be sensitive to that.
And I understand that, but every bit of sensitivity can still be offensive to somebody coming in the door.
Saying.
I'm just saying that we can't make an assessment.
But even if he said it in the most humblest of ways,
I don't know what he said.
Point is, he said that in here we all pray. That was what the problem was. The issue was because he did not come down and kneel with the rest of the congregation. The man then in turn began to rebuke and dispute him based on what the guy was saying, and he turned the message. Now the whole service is hyped up based on this man saying what ain't going to happen in here, and ain't no devil in hell, and so forth and so forth.
So like I said initially, they probably thought that he came in with the evil spirit.
But he did nothing to warrant that.
I'm not saying that he did. I'm saying the statement that I'm saying is just like he didn't know what to expect with them coming in. Mm-hmm. They didn't know what to expect from him, and there was no exchange, obviously, to discuss what my purpose is. But we can't. But in today's society, we cannot assume that everybody's walking in the door with the right intentions because somebody just shot up a church 2 days ago.
He hung up again?
But see, and for me, I'm saying for me, I understand your perspective, but for me, a church, that's what a church means. It's family. It's welcoming you in. If you feel like, if we're in a state where we don't know who's coming in our churches, there needs to then be a buffer. So instead of it being an option at the end of your first service, now we need to take you at the beginning of that service and do some
I agree.
Know you.
I agree.
You cannot disrespect somebody. You don't know if this is the last straw for this person. You don't know where that person is coming from in life. This person could be seconds away from killing themselves.
I agree.
And then however you do it, to put somebody on blast, either way, even if it wasn't intended to be, harmful, to do that to a new member walking in your door.
Not even a member, a stranger.
I'm sorry.
But see, that's the thing, though. That's a stranger. No, he wasn't a guest. He was a stranger to them. They didn't know.
But that's what the church is for. You open the doors to strangers.
That's what it should be for. That's what it should be for. But unless they're a non-profit organization, they're a private entity. So that doesn't mean that they have
need
to
to be
let
taxed.
everybody come in.
William Scott said you should be open-minded when anyone comes into your church. Then he said when you go to a church, you should get something from the message and apply it to your life. We have a caller. Hello?
Yeah, this is better.
Okay.
Okay. If you're going into any religious or spiritual house and you're going with a purpose, like I said before, it doesn't matter what anybody else is there for. Maybe I'm a little further along in my spirituality than some other people. You come in there to give honor and worship to God. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what the culture is. You come in there with a purpose. Like how the young lady said, some people come in there, they wounded, they hurt, they don't want to participate or whatever. Was the congregation or the preacher wrong for singling him out? Absolutely. Every major religion that's out there have some of the main, they share some of the main moral principles: love, forgiveness, and so forth and so on. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but they share some of the same core principles. Were they wrong? Yeah. But if can't nobody judge you but God, they got to learn in their own time.
They got to learn, and they're at risk of losing a possible member or soul.
What's the real
who said that
question?
can't nobody judge you with God? Who said that? That only God can judge you? Tupac? Because that's not true.
What is the real? No, even the Bible will tell you that. It doesn't matter the Bible, the Quran, Buddha, Confucius, whoever you want to name. The problem that I see
does the Bible
is
say that?
Everybody is caught up in religion and nobody is paying attention to spirituality. Religion is just a structural tool to help you embrace your spirituality. I don't know how many people realize or recognize that, but that's the truth of the matter.
But Carla, how does that then mandate anybody to receive or not receive anybody in particular? I'm not understanding.
What God has for you, He has for you. I was talking to a family member earlier, and they was telling me a story about how they tried to give somebody that was new to their spirituality some helpful information, but that person looked at this person and couldn't receive it. It took for another individual, God, to touch somebody else and tell them, and tell that individual to tell this other person, hey, listen, because she ain't hear it over here, so I'm gonna say it again. That's how we wind up with Jesus. That's how we wind up with Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, because he keeps sending the message, and people keep taking what they want to take from.
Hello? Okay. Oh. I'm not quite sure what happened. Q. Phone disconnected. Okay. So at the end of the day, I don't agree. You're saying that you saying that you don't have enough information one way or the other to
no,
say yes
all
or
I'm
no.
saying is we have to be accountable to.
Have you ever
I'm trying
felt
to make sure
that? Have you ever
been do you know yes
and felt that?
Yes.
Like that's all I'm I
have,
back to that
but
moment.
you know what I do?
Like it didn't crush me because I was from the world and I came there with that expectation that everybody here not perfect. But you're coming to a place to surrender.
No.
I'm saying you didn't.
No, I'm saying when we
spaces to finally surrender, and that's what you're being faced with.
But we come in the door expecting judgment, especially if we haven't been there. We come in the door already feeling condemned.
That's somebody who you can't feel condemned if you don't know what you did. Right. That's wrong. And I'm not saying that he was oblivious. Yes, he can
that's
no, but he also he knew that it was a possibility that he wasn't going to be received.
No, but
am I wrong?
Yes, you are.
I'm wrong?
Yes,
Wait,
I'm
so
telling
you
you're
coming
wrong.
into a new situation
That's if you already
and you
had an
look like
understanding
you
of
don't
what-
belong. You
No,
know you look
but
like you
if
don't
you've
belong.
if you've never tasted that type of spirituality or that house of God before, you don't know the people in there. He's coming from a place.
We're talking about real human beings in everyday situation.
a
This
real
is not
human
just
being.
church. I'm talking about our own personal psyche and self-esteem. When we walk into a new situation, we automatically assume that people are assessing us. We automatically look at the differences. If you take children and put them in a group together, they identify the differences between each other. And it makes you uncomfortable.
Majority of people, church is still different, despite anything else.
You have an expectation of church to be different.
Right. And if you've never been there, and if you've never been in that house of God before, you're coming in there with that pure heart.
No,
And you get that once you get
you're
there.
coming in there with whatever preconceived notions that have been built up by all those people that are around you. No, you're going to come in with preconceived notions that have been developed by whatever experiences you've gotten from other people. And if you're not
that's
one
what I'm
in the
saying, but
church,
those people
the
are
experiences
attached to
that you're going to get, the experiences you're going to get and hear about, the stuff that's going to stick is going to be the negative, because we retain the negative information far more frequently than the positive.
He's going to retain it, and now he's going to keep retaining, because now he was faced with exactly.
But what I'm saying is,
based on what you're saying.
what I'm saying is, what should happen at this point when we're talking about adults that understand how we work and operate and how our brains operate, is what's supposed to happen is I'm either going to decide this is what's supposed to happen. I have to decide whether or not I'm going to address you on the offense or if I'm going to let it go. Other than that,
you haven't really let God use you, and you.
This is not about God. This is about personal self psyche, self ego. This is not about God. No. This is what I'm talking about.
Not to Norma Jean.
What I'm talking about is as an individual. Because I can't talk about church, because this man isn't a Christian. This man was a Muslim. So this is why I'm not talking about church. I'm talking about the human psyche, the way our brains are developed.
But
I know
isn't born into Christianity.
I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm talking about individualism. As an individual, I know as an adult that what he said offended me. I have three choices. A, let him know that he offended me so that we can work this out. B, I can walk away and let it go because this dude don't matter anyway. Or C, harbor and let it eat up my insides. And at the end of the day, listen, at the end of the day,
getting closer to God.
At the end, this is not about God. This is about individuals.
We're in church though. We're talking about church.
No.
We're talking about somebody going to church for the first time.
Wait a minute. Q said it's always about God. Warren said
Lord.
people come to the house
Lord
of God.
have mercy. We make everything about God. Everything is not about everything.
Warren
It's not
said
about
people
God.
come to the house of God. He is still on? Okay, wait a minute. Warren said we come to the house of God looking for acceptance. That's what people expect going into church, he believed. Caller, you're on the phone? No? Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Wait a minute, let me ask you a question. Based off of what Warren just said. Based off of what Warren
to the house
said.
of God looking for acceptance. That's
Do we not have people that come to church looking to cause problems? Please tell me that you don't know nobody that come to church.
Go come in the church looking to cause problems.
I dare you say something to me. Walk in the church, but there are people that come in, and like you said, they come in looking for God in their own way. But I dare somebody to say something to me. Do people not deal?
But you have to deal with that person. You cannot.
And what I'm saying is, and what I can't control, I can't control nothing else. You can only control yourself. And what I'm saying is, if I can only control myself, I have to be accountable for myself.
Larry Stevenson said, but before you came to God, you were human. Lisa said, not everyone.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Not everyone, though. You're judging everyone under one umbrella. I'm assuming. Lisa, I don't know. She said not everyone. You're judging everyone under one umbrella.
What's the judgment?
Talking to you because you don't.
What judgment?
I guess
that
people coming to church.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, all I'm saying is that as an individual, I can't speak on behalf of the group. I am the church. So when I talk about the church, I talk about it from my perspective, because I can't control what other people do. I have to be the example of the church. So me as the church, as a part of the body, I look at each situation and I assess it individually, as based off of individuals. And if you offend me, I have to talk to you. If I offend you and I don't know that I offend you, how do I know that I offended you if you don't come to me?
Wait a minute.
But what we do is
we gotta go to commercial.
I agree.
We gotta go to commercial. Listen, y'all. When we come back, we're gonna end this and then we're gonna go dive into the Jim Carrey. I did have a question for Pastor Pendelton. Just walked in while they was hot and heavy. Stay tuned, y'all. Grab you a little drink. I think this is a 2 minute. A drink. Not a drink. What you drink? Here you go.
Of water.
2-minute break. So grab you something. Come right back. I appreciate everybody. We're still reading your comments. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, this is your girl, the one and only Thick Caps. Check us out every Saturday from 5 to 7, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Whatever parents, they gotta have the best of everything, or when you go to school you gonna kill them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then you look and it's like, did you have it like that when you was in school? Nah, girl, my parents, I had to go to school with stuff, old tennis shoes and stuff like that. I ain't gonna let my kids go there, but a decent pair of tennis shoes, a decent slacks, whatever. I'm kind of glad that they did the uniforms.
Oh my God, they did the uniforms right while I was leaving.
They did the uniforms. It was like 2 years behind me right after I left from school. And I'm like, oh man, it saved a lot for our parents. It helped the parents a lot. But still, they still found the way to live vicariously through their kids.
Yeah. Because like with my daughter's school, when she was in school, as long as she wore the shirt, the school shirt, she could wear any pants. Or as long as she had like the cardigan on, the school cardigan, she could wear any outfit.
And do you realize, like private schools, county schools, deep county schools, they've been in different towns. They already been wearing uniforms. Even when you watch like an after school special, they have on uniforms. We're the only ones in the urban areas that did not have on uniforms.
Yeah.
We still were.
We was late getting
We were super late.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, good people? It's the man you all know and love, E. Digger. Make sure you check us out every Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
You going back to that? That's us? No. That is us. Oh, okay. You ain't giving. You ain't telling us nothing.
You heard the clapping.
I heard the clapping.
We're back. Well, y'all got, before the commercial break, we were talking about the Muslim man who walked into the church and he felt like he was disrespected because he didn't follow the guidelines and the rules. He didn't come up and pray, and he didn't recite the things that they were saying. And the pastor that was there called him out, and at the end of the day, he wound up leaving the church. So, Pastor Pendelton, you said you wanted to offer something to that.
Yes, a couple things. First of all, let's not forget what the church is. The church is a hospital full of sick folk. From the time you walk in the door, from the preacher in the pulpit to the usher at the back door to the visitor, we all come to worship trying to get something from God for what we are. That's the first thing. So I just don't agree with casting things at the church and say, well, the church is supposed to be this, church is supposed to be that. The church is supposed to be a lot of things, but all of us are human people. And so there's going to be times where we all make mistakes. We all fall short. We all are not going to handle every situation the best way. Because the reality of it is all of us in here, all of us are Christians, all of us are supposed to act a certain way in church and out of church. But all of us in here have had times when our personalities didn't match our light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can sit there and when you look at your own life, with your light that you carry didn't match the person that you were showing. And so that's not always the case. I mean, that's sometimes it's the case inside of church services. Sometimes it's the case outside in the street. We're Christians no matter where we go. The church that God, he's coming back for is not the building. The church he's coming back for is the individual and how we live our life and how we carry his name, how we are following his commandments and how we're doing what he called us to do. That's the first thing. The second thing is, most times people come to church with preconceived notions and ideas about church
automatically. You got shows like Greenleaf, Real Preachers of Atlanta, Real do this. So you have all these preconceived notions about church pastors, churches, and all this stuff that's going on in church that does not show the best light of who we are anyway.
Right.
And so we look like we criminals, hookers, prostitutes, pimps already. And then people are coming in with that preconceived notion, and
they're waiting for the opportunity
to critique it. And let me critique it.
Making excuses.
And I'm not making. This is what I'm saying. I'm giving a very honest look at the church, and so that's what happens in church. People have a preconceived notion. Secondly, we don't know what happened in experience. That's his perception of experience. That's how he felt as a pastor. That's not. I don't feel like we should be extending ourselves to people coming to worship experience. We should be inviting.
Roll that back. Say that
we
again?
should be extending ourselves.
Oh, I thought you said should, not
No, we should be extending ourselves.
But you gotta be careful.
Let me ask you this. Because I understand y'all saying, and I don't want to stay on this because that's I want to get into the Jim Carrey and finish that. But I don't understand how you're saying it's his perception. If he said anything to this man for not coming up to pray, if I mean this is
wait a minute.
Listen,
but
if
he
said anything, yes, the man did not walk up to pray. He did not. All he said was, "I don't. No, thank you."
I have an example. I just recently saw a person come to church. They had never been in church before. When the altar call was done, they were almost forced to come get saved. So it was an assumption that they weren't saved. Now, regardless of whether or not it was rude, disrespectful, inconsiderate, it was never the intention to be harmful. Because the woman that did this had a heart to make sure that if nothing else happens, you find Jesus today. It was that important to her. But I saw it on the outside, and I was like, well, dang, you just gonna force that man to get saved? Like, you just gonna assume that man not saved? So it's a matter of perception. I felt one way, she felt another way. The man felt a whole different way. He was accepting of the fact that she thought enough about him. Yeah.
Okay.
But wait, he probably didn't really get saved, but he was accepting of the fact.
What if he did?
And this is my perception.
Now, I have a family member. I'm not sure if Prophet Robert is looking at that, but we've talked about this before. And he's known people same way off the street come up and then get caught up in the emotion of the service. That actually, because they are unaware of what's happening, that scares them.
The realness.
Yes.
That scares them. And now they're intimidated and won't come back because they felt this thing that you're talking about, but they didn't know what they were feeling. And they couldn't, the shouting that we do, that's automatic, they couldn't handle that. So I don't think that's fair, because you're running people away by introducing them to things they're just not ready or don't understand.
Well, you walked into this atmosphere, though.
So then we change the culture of worship.
No.
Okay.
You have to calling them out.
But, no, I think the problem.
But you have to treat this as if you would treat any other workplace environment.
It's a church. You can't.
No, but you just said this was real life. And you have to treat the people that you have working at your church as if it's a workplace environment, and training people to be aware of the sensitivity that people come in there with.
If the leadership doesn't know, how do you expect that? But you're accountable because you walked through that door.
Right.
You walked through that door unknowingly. So we have to hold ourselves accountable for something. He put himself in that situation. He walked into a random ministry that he knew nothing about and had an assumption of what he should have known. No, he wasn't trying to learn about that church. He was trying to learn about Christianity.
What did you say, Pastor?
So I have a question so I can get clarity before I make this response. Did at any time this young man talk to the pastor of the church?
To my knowledge, there was no conversation outside of a no thank you. He didn't want to come up.
Okay, so there was no engage in conversation between leader and pastor and person?
No.
Okay. So here's my concern.
Well, let me take it back. Until the rebuke started.
So the rebuke was conversation between them two. He rebuked them in conversation.
No. The rebuke was the rest of the message was at him.
So he said, openly. "You young man, you should have came up for prayer."
I'm not sure how it went.
I
don't know how it went. I'm saying it was an open rebuke. But I'm saying it doesn't matter what he said.
Let me finish. I'm asking the questions because I'm giving you a response.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking these questions is because sometimes in the worship service, we can suggest that when the preacher is saying something, he is directing it to a certain person. The Bible says the word of God is a two-edged sword. It's going to cut you and the person who's giving it to you. So, very realistically, the preacher could not have really been talking about him. He could have really been preaching a message about this is what we do in this house. He could have been preaching a message of correction to his people. No, wait, listen. Let me finish what I'm saying. He could have been preaching a message of correction for his house. And this young man happened to come in during the time that the pastor was preaching a message of correction for his house, that in this house, this is what we do. In this house, this is what we serve.
So let me finish what I'm saying.
So this is, I've done it as a senior pastor in my church. I've had to preach a correction message on Sunday morning to my church, say, hey, we got to get this together. And it's not directed to a visitor. It's directed to the people who serve in ministry, people who serve in this church, people who are members of this body, this august body of the church, and I'm giving a correction message as the senior pastor because my responsibility is to get the house in order.
Yes.
And he took that as a personal attack on him.
But ain't the responsibility souls?
This is what I'm saying. The responsibility of the church is souls, but as the pastor of the church, I have to make sure the house is in order as well.
I agree. But you just said it's not a business, though. That's what business is.
No. The house of the church is in order as far as spirituality.
I'm just saying.
And so he could have taken. You see how I'm saying the message could have been directed to the people, and it's not directed. But what I'm saying is we can't make a preconceived notion about the church and about this experience that he had.
The whole body.
It's the whole august body of the church, and this is all that happened. I can't
about that individual
because we don't never
about that individual.
That's back to what I said. The preparation prior to caused me to say, okay, I can't totally agree. I can't agree with that because that's two sides of every story. And this young man never took the time to say, hey, I want to know more about God. I want to know more about whatever. I was kind of offended by the message. And the pastor probably would say, I wasn't even talking about you.
But you know what? He very well could have been talking about him. And here's the thing: because we do see that. Though. We can't say that we can't say that we haven't seen that before.
We can't say that's what happened.
But we can't. No. But here's the thing: I just don't want to get in the habit of justifying stuff that I don't know whether or not it did or didn't occur. I don't want to justify the church because the church has done a lot of screwed up stuff.
I'm saying the church is wrong when we weren't there.
Well, I'm not saying that, but the church.
That was not the question. Let me make this clear. He asked, did he do something wrong?
Yes.
That's what he asked to me.
And yes, what he did wrong was
walk away with that.
And that's it. What he did wrong was he did not speak up. If you were offended,
I don't think that he did that wrong because
that's what he did wrong. You can't walk, Keisha.
If I walk into a Muslim, what do you call it? Mosque. And I have no idea what's going on. I'm just here.
Walk into a mosque and walk up to the front and see what the heck happened to you.
Walk up to the front.
Walk up to the front of a mosque and see what happens to you.
Walk to the front. Got to do with anything.
Keisha, when we in Christian, no, what I'm saying, in Christian worship, we can walk up to the front and to the altar and kneel at the altar, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to walk into a mosque. No. I want you to walk into a mosque and walk straight to the front and see. What I want to do, I want you to do that and see if you don't get offended.
I probably will get offended,
and that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if you put yourself, don't say. Let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. What I'm saying is,
that's what I'm trying to.
Why didn't he kneel down and pray?
Because
he just walked in the building.
So what I'm saying, if I'm coming into a church and I need to see God's face right now, and I come in, I walk straight. No, you cannot. Let me say, if I come into a church and I need restoration, and I walk straight into the church and fall out across the front of the church, they're gonna bring a sheet and cover me up, right?
Okay.
This is the conception that I have when it comes to worship.
Right.
Right? So if I go into a mosque and I need redemption, and I start to proceed to the front, and I get stopped, I'm going to be offended. Now, my preconceived notion is it's a house of worship. Why can't I? But if I'm offended, now, no. If I get stopped and I'm offended, I can't get mad.
Is cracking up.
How can I get mad if I go into a situation? If I go into a situation that I know nothing about.
Okay, I got you.
And then I'm gonna be offended by stuff that happens when I put myself in that situation.
And I get where you're taking response.
That's like me walking into a hoe house and getting mad because somebody mistake me for a hoe. I put myself in that situation.
Okay, that's a good comparison. But let me just tell you, I'm going to tell you this.
Elder, don't go
when
into
you
the
go into any house of worship,
no, I go into the
your first instinct is to watch and listen.
That's it.
Not to act. Unless you've already been there before or you've studied it before.
But who knows if that man been there before or not?
No, in
the church. In the church. Nobody in the church know anything about this man.
I'm listening to
2 days ago, 2 days ago, a black man walked into a church, shot 8 people.
Okay,
2 days ago.
I never shot 8 people in the church.
2 days ago. What I'm saying is,
2 years ago, a man walked in the Charleston church and signed 6 people at Bible study.
Okay, so
I mean,
that's those
when they went to pray. During the time that they went to pray.
But none of that matters to me because they didn't come at him in a defense like I don't know who you are, why are you here? That what you're using for an analogy would make sense because I don't know you. I'm uncomfortable with who you just sitting in the back of the church.
Rude.
But I'm saying using what you said, what you're saying, using the fact that people come in the church and shooting it up.
No, what I'm saying is they did not know that man.
They didn't know that man.
And all I'm saying is because they did not know that man, they cannot then make an assessment on what he should or should not be doing because they know nothing about him.
What that
and he knows nothing about. And what I'm saying is he knows nothing. He knows nothing about them. So just as it's fair that they don't know anything about him, he didn't know anything about them.
I'm gonna use myself. I'm gonna keep using myself example because I don't want to talk about this man because I don't know who his that. But those things have happened to me personally, and I came there looking for a new church, new worship center. And people say what they want to say to you. They do what they want to do to you, and they don't know who you are.
Yes.
And if anything, I could be coming in there, and this
unless
could
you
be my
suited and booted and you look like a pastor.
I totally understand that. I totally understand that.
But I know those things. I know to come to church because I was raised by an older woman. You come to church in your best.
Well,
and you go in those places and you don't know, and people just
the smallest.
This
was not even the topic. I was just waiting for you.
But this was really, I mean, it was really good. but we have to. But all I'm saying is we have to take.
We only got 1 minute.
We just got to take responsibility.
So here's what and I understand what you are.
30 seconds.
People come to church hurt, broken. Church
not
is
always. This man didn't come there like that. He came there just to learn.
Go ahead. Let him finish because we got to go to commercial.
People come to church hurt, broken. People come to church to find out information. People come to church for a multiplicity of things. The reality of it is that people come to worship with some kind of preconceived notion or some kind of expectation, trying to discover information or trying to figure out some things for their life or about who God is. So the church has to be in a position where when we're receiving people with the right spirit, but also people have to understand that there are different things that happen in worship, and if you don't understand it, the best thing to do is ask questions about it. It's the best thing to try to figure out and find information about it without no because I can't defend everything. Every church ain't perfect. We're all as a hospital. Everybody's sick. You try and make it seem like everybody. That's not an excuse. That's
we gotta go to commercial. At the end of the day, every house has their own set of rules, and I agree. I agree that I think there was a lack of communication on both parts. I will say that he could have said whatever, but I promise you, I would not have said anything. It's too many churches. I can promise you, when he walked out of that door, it was probably another church at the next corner that was more than willing to open their doors. That might not have been a good fit. Go to another and I hope he do, and he will because he talked to me.
Okay,
but
you are part of the
right. That's why I know that he will.
You're part of the body of Christ.
We have to go to a commercial break. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to dive into the rest of the topics. Stay tuned.
Please let her get to.
I want to know about Jim Carrey.
Please.
Y'all say for what about? We'll be back. I'm sorry. I thought we had already.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com.
Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Football, you basically have a good 10 to 12 years, and that's what it is.
When you have a lot of people retiring early, it's funny. A lot of me and my alumni from UVA, where I graduated from, one of our fellow Wahoos, he retired yesterday, 32 years old. To Brickashaw Ferguson, and he's been in the league like 10 or 12 years. So like you said, a lot of guys are making that change on their own now because they're seeing a lot of things from the the concussion movement,
right?
Stuff that's been happening. It's not the noun, it's the effects later, because you see different stories of men are in like their 50s and some are committed suicide because of the banging and the voices or the concussions. And
did you see that?
I haven't got a chance to see it. But
not the movie, but did you see those effects?
I have seen concussions in college where guys have played that whole entire game and didn't realize they was at a football game.
Wow.
But like before the big emphasis came about whole concussions and what's going on, we was taught you just run to the wall. You can't be soft. You shake it off and get back in it. So
the wrong attitude to have.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really internal. Like you really doing damage, not just to your bones,
right,
but to your mind.
Everything. Right. And later on down the line, because just like you said, once the game is over, when you've been in a game and you think about it, because I tell people the NFL, any sports, whether it's male or female, is a semi-military, because you're told when to get up, when to work out, what to eat, when to play. All right, now you got a curfew, you got to be in the bed by this time. You do it for years and years, and all of a sudden, bam, it's done. So what do you do?
Right.
So just like in a military that have with PTSD, we have that because we so used to having a certain way. And I remember watching this Brian Gumbel on HBO, it was like years ago, and a guy would act like he was getting dressed, a real good football player, would walk his daughter to the bus stop, and he would come back in the house, close the curtains, and just sit there because he didn't know how else to handle himself. Because he was so used to being told what to do, because our schedule are laid out. By this time, you got to do this. By this time, you got to do this. Eat at this time, back on the field. So,
hey, what's up? This is Nate, host of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Tune in every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., and every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live, here live on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
We are back. They never stop. From the commercial break. Well, listen. Let me. Lisa said she was confused. So no. But Lisha said she was confused. It's been the same topic for the past 30 minutes. There was a Muslim man who walked into the church, and he felt like he was disrespected going into the church because he did not comply with the rules of the church. He didn't say anything. He just said he didn't want to pray. He just wanted to learn, and he felt as though he was embarrassed. And they went on a tangent about we cannot fault the church, basically.
Did she just exclude herself? From our
tangent? Went on a tangent because I didn't go on a tangent. I listened. I did exactly what he tried to do.
All we did is
we
just had a conversation.
But I want to be very clear about the standpoint is we keep saying that he directed to him, and nobody knows who the pastor was directed to because nobody asked the pastor a question.
The conversation started with
nobody
him.
Can say
the conversation started with why aren't you coming to the front? It was directed to him.
But who said it to him?
The pastor asked him.
So he was setting the order of his house. But he was setting the order of his house. So if you come in my house with shoes on and everybody's supposed to take their shoes off, and no, if you come to my house and you have on shoes and I ask you to remove your shoes and you get offended because I asked you to take your shoes off like everybody else, whose fault is that?
But when I equated the church to a business, you said, no, this is a church. But now you're talking about it in terms of bringing somebody.
This is my question.
That's not
so
I don't know the rules of your church.
Exactly.
So, wait a minute.
So why is it wrong for him to tell him the rules of his church?
So
if he felt like that was his rule.
Wait, so this is my question. So you said the pastor actually told him to come up for prayer, and he didn't do it. Okay, so the pastor said when we hear this is what we do. We all come up for prayer together.
Yeah.
So when you go into the mosque, you ain't standing in the mosque and they've all been down to pray and you don't pray.
You think
they're
gonna
gonna
stand
tell
up?
you.
They gonna
No, wait a minute. Let me finish what I'm saying. But they're gonna sit and tell you when you come in here, this is what we do.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. The same thing that the church is saying. When you come in here, this is what we do. It's not an offensive thing.
Exactly.
It's saying this is what we do when you come in here.
But
you can't.
But we don't know. If he was
offended,
offended, he should have said something. There should have been a conversation afterwards.
Well, I'm not. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, it's about interpretation, and I can't. What?
So, William Scott, Malcolm Chubby, he said that it was wrong because they singled him out, and that's not right. But he singled himself out when everybody prayed and he didn't.
Oh my goodness, this is not fair. It's really not fair.
Yeah,
to
I don't
treat
think that's
guests
fair.
like that.
It's not. No, I'm saying no.
This is a
I'm
guest
saying
in your
that
home.
I'm
Like-
saying that we have to take personal accountability for what happens to
And
us.
I'm saying-
Why are we always the victim?
He's taking
And then
responsibility
why
enough
is the
to say
church
he's not
responsible?
going back
Why
there.
is the problem when the church the pastor church says, okay, well this is what we do when we pray, we all come up here for prayer. That's why is that a problem? That's the order of the house.
Well, that's
if this is what we do.
because you
This
are
is what we do.
familiar with it.
No,
And that's why he's telling
but
them.
if I'm just, I love your examples accurately. If I say in this house, this is what we do. This is the expectation as the chieftain of the house, as the priest of the house. This is what we're going to do.
But this person never been to this church.
That's why he's.
But you know
But
what?
I'm
That's why he's telling them.
At the end of the day, that there is a large chance that he won't be at another one. That's the point. That's the only thing I'm saying. And I mean, communication on both ends. And there is no. I mean,
Well, we could very well say that you were the opportunity to bring him back too.
Well, I did. The first thing I said was you can.
But we're one body, so I can't take credit. I can't take credit.
Be your last experience. But wait a minute. Let me just say, Naima Green, Dana, how you doing? Thank you for checking in. She said, at the end of the day, you pull a man to a side and speak to him. You and I and anyone would be embarrassed to be called out. I agree.
So you admonishing this man because he doesn't know your ritual?
Right.
No,
Clinton said
we can't say that he got admonished.
We're gonna get their comments and then we're gonna move because we'll do this all day with church people. Yes.
Go ahead.
By
I'm
all
gonna
means,
always defend the church.
Absolutely, because by all means,
problem.
Clinton said, by all means,
you don't think
let the man learn the
church?
truth. Wait a minute, let me read the viewers' comments. I gotta read the viewers' comments, please.
We are
Clinton
defending
said,
of the faith.
by all means, let the
like the
man
police department.
learn the truth, because all means all of us are searching for the higher being. It's just how and what way we do it. Okay. Mario said everybody wants to be a victim and not take accountability.
Exactly, Mario. Thank you.
Warren says maybe it could have been explained to him why we all prayed because of this.
We don't know because none of us was there.
Exactly, we weren't there. We can't just allow him to be
none of us know.
I guess for me, because I know the person, and I believe what he says. Again, there's no reason for him not to say it. We weren't talking about the show. I asked him if he wanted. I could present it to get others' opinions, because he was asking me. He wasn't saying, "Can you ask
right.
Sunset?" So we were having a dialogue. He knows that I'm in church, so that's why he brought it to me. And it was a real concern because he wanted to learn more about the faith. That was an opportunity, and it was an opportunity missed. At the end of the day, whoever fault it was for that moment in that day. Thankfully, he is still here, because how they say you could walk out this door right now and not wake up tomorrow. It could have been that way for him, and that was an opportunity missed, regardless of whose fault it was, whose blood, who hands. This blood gonna be on their hands. That none of our we won't know. But who would be responsible?
But
for
if
that.
he got singled out to be told that he was getting a car, a house, a job, everybody would have loved that, though, right?
I don't think so. At the end of the day, I think that we make up excuses for our religion, for the things that we. And I think
it's not
for
an
me,
excuse.
I think it was an excuse.
It's not an
but
excuse.
that's my opinion. I think it's an excuse because I feel like there's no reason for somebody to walk in the church feeling worse than what they did when they walked in. And I know that feeling, just like they say. I've been in church all my life. I know the rules.
I know.
And
I think all of us in here have experienced church hurt. All of us in here have had church hurt.
It's hurt in general, and this is the thing.
Wait, I'm saying all of us had the experience that we have had some kind of church hurt. All of us got hurt, period. But the reality of it is, when we come to church, when we come into worship, we come to be a part of the experience. We come to hear something from God. We come to get something from what God is saying to us. And so we've got to stop having this thing where, the church should do this, the church should do that. The church is not perfect. We keep asking for the church to be perfect.
The church is not perfect.
We're not perfect people.
But you don't have to
can't
be
expect
perfect to treat
imperfect
with
people
dignity. You don't have to be perfect to do that.
Where was he cheating? There was no way.
Conversation that happens in the police department.
There was
decency and respect.
We treat everybody.
Who said he wasn't treated
right?
He said he was.
So if you felt that, but there's a lot of times that we feel some kind of way, and that was never the intention. How do you resolve it if you don't say nothing?
But how do you treat a guest that you've never seen before? How do you treat this person like this? You've never met this person.
So what are you supposed to do
this person didn't shoot
What
up
are you
your
supposed to do with them?
space.
You don't know, not yet.
So if the person
what are you supposed to do with them?
But if the person
you
chose
watch
to
them.
sit there and watch the
You
service,
pray and you
could
watch them and you
oblige
continue
them.
to do your job. The job of the pastor is to maintain the order of the house. If the order of the house is that everybody pray, what's wrong? If the order of I did not say that he was creating disorder. He's to maintain the order that the house has set. If the order of my house is take your shoes off when you come in and you come in without taking off your shoes, you did not cause a disruption into the house. However, you are breaking the rules of my house.
Here's the thing, using that analogy. If they would have said to him when he walked to the door, because you're having this conversation with a person about their shoes at the entrance.
Right.
Usually
people don't get caught out until you catch them on your carpet with the shoes.
They just walked in the door. Is what I'm saying. And most of the time, if it's at the door when somebody say you can't come in because you're opening the door.
But just like
but wait a minute, I'm just saying you are letting someone in. Using what you just said, you're letting someone in the house, which means that's usually attached to you saying, "Oh, you're more than welcome to come in, but you got to take your shoes off." You know, if that conversation, be it with an usher, one of the evangelists, missionaries, whomever, if that conversation would have took place,
it did
with him.
At the altar, when they called him to pray,
but you
and he refused.
But to do
wait,
that
it's the same.
It's not the same.
It's the same. If I tell you at the door, because this is now when it's impactful at the door. Take your shoes off. If you refuse, then I can decide not to let you in my house. Right? I can at that point, or you can leave. No. But when they said come up for prayer, and he said no, and they said come up for prayer. And he said no. Then now you've by you standing there, you've opened the opportunity to have dialogue because they told you.
That's all I'm saying. There's other.
They didn't tell him he had to leave. But now you have to listen to. You have to listen to what comes next. This is the order of the house. If this is the order, and this is the thing, we try to make. We want to pacify everybody.
Wait a minute.
And Jesus never pacified anybody.
Clinton said, "Read his comments." First of all, Larry Stevenson says the man should have made his issue known. Okay, Lisa said he can feel that way. You can't control how he feels about it. Clinton says the Bible say come as you are. Stop tripping. Larry says I believe you should never make someone pray. That's free will.
I agree.
At the end of the day, the goal is for the people to come in. The goal is for people to be saved, souls to be saved.
That's their goal.
The goal, I would assume, the goal of any.
We're not in the church right now.
We don't know.
Not in the church. It's a definite thing.
To my knowledge, that's the goal of the church, for the people to come. Wait a minute, because we're going to go to commercial
break. That's the commission that God's given us.
Right.
No, not to come into the church.
No,
but it doesn't matter about coming into the church. It's about saving souls.
So here's the caveat. I'm just gonna say this. The reality of it is that. The reality of it is that there's perception. There's his perception. There's a church perception, and we wasn't there to tell the story. We don't know exactly what happened. None of us were there. We're going off of one-sided issue when we don't know the whole story.
Well, that's the reason why I kept saying it doesn't matter what was said.
So, but here, and the other side of it is we don't know whether they may have rolled out the red carpet for him, and they said, "Well, this is what we do," and they tried to do that. Probably and so you can't say that because you don't know, you weren't there. And I say a lot of times we're gonna say, "Well, this is what happened to me," and I've seen this happen to people. Ain't nobody perfect. There's no perfect church. We're all imperfect people trying to serve a perfect God.
That needs to be a stamp that they just put on there.
Listen, we're going to attempt to try to leave this conversation alone and move to the next subject. I don't know. When we come back, stay tuned.
Let the Spirit move you.
Oh my goodness.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BExposedRadio.com.
How did you know that this is what you wanted to do as far as being a singer or entertainer?
It's always been in me. It's always been a part of who I am since a child. Since a child, I've always gotten karaoke boxes, and I've always learned this song and solos in school and all of those things. And I met my Reflections actually in high school, and you know we were singing back then, choral music.
Douglas High School.
Yes, quack, come on through here. You know, so
2 G's in a day pass.
Okay, 2 G's in a bus pass, baby. You know, it used to be, of course. You know, it was destined. I feel like it was destined. My whole family sings. Everyone in my circle sings. It's like I just couldn't get away from it. I'm always gonna sing.
Where did your personality come from? Are you always this crazy?
Yes.
Yes. Crazy.
Right?
I woke up like this.
Okay.
And went to sleep like it too.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
They still going at it. So we just like last week, we will never agree in this situation. I don't think it's about a right. I really don't think it's about a right or wrong. Like you said, it's about perception.
Yeah.
So
perception.
That's what I just said. Right?
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, I thought you said I said the wrong word. William Scott said,
can I get an amen?
Hallelujah.
Glory.
Somebody touch your neighbor and tell your neighbor.
Let's not debate.
I should have brought my keyboard tonight.
William Scott said, let's not debate this. Let God do what he do by not singling people out, which is wrong.
That's not true, William.
I agree, William.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. There are times when open rebuke is required.
Absolutely.
So we can't say... But we can't say
your flop, and that person signed on for that. But I don't.
Disagree.
No, I do not think that God is that type of God that's going to openly rebuke somebody with that's not even.
Baby,
no.
God has swallowed up a whole group of people in front of other people.
No, that's first.
People have dropped dead. God has caused people to drop dead.
I'm talking
without another word.
Coming and seeking and wanting to learn about God is.
I'm just saying, stop trying to make God seem like he's just this lolly-dolly, sit on a flower and float around and don't hurt nobody's feelings, and we're gonna be everybody's gonna be nice and pleasant. That is not reality. That's not God.
This is why I'm here for Jim Carrey. This is why. I'm sorry for this argument right here, because we didn't get a chance to finish. And I want to finish it because I mean, there's other stuff we didn't get a chance to talk about, but I want to finish this because.
Are we going to be on week 3 next week? Is this going to be week 3?
I don't know.
I don't, because I'm going to start putting this on my calendar. I need to make sure.
But last week we did.
Say about this mist.
Because I don't have nothing to say about this fragrance.
The fragrance in the air.
I don't have no fragrance. I don't know about the fragrance.
I've been studying up on the whole Maslow's hierarchy
of needs, human needs,
and the whole thing.
Acceptance is one of them, right?
Self-actualization.
Touch is one of them.
So why was the lady offended when the lady tried to touch her? That's a need.
What are you talking about?
She tried to meet the need.
Because she
hallelujah
her faith, and she was visiting.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady, the spirit was going around.
But the lady was just trying to fulfill the basic human need.
So if I came over,
but it was the lady's. She needed to touch her. She needed. All I need.
So Jim Carrey, as we discussed last week, was he did several different interviews, and throughout the interview, people would talk to him and ask him things like whatever they would say. For instance, how are you doing? And his response would be, "There is no me." Prince EA did a collective, all of the different clips and stuff like that. He put them all together, did this collage basically of the different clips, and explained how he felt that Jim Carrey was woke, and people were saying he's crazy, he's lost it, and he's saying that no, he's evolved, and we're the ones that are still asleep, basically. And last week they got into the whole, because Jim Carrey, his response to the question of how are you doing is there is no me. He said, I don't believe in me and you and people. I believe in personalities that wonderful, and there are wonderful fragrances in the air.
I just want to hear Lisha.
When we started talking about it on last week, we were talking about the connection between what he was saying about there is no actual me, but basically the body is in its nothingness, and equating that to the Christian faith. And we didn't get a chance to get completely into that. We touched on it, but we didn't get a chance to get into it. You will not take this from me. I want to know how the two things are similar in itself. And I want to know, because I've really been studying this whole thing all week, and I want to know what y'all feel about it before I get into what I brought.
This from last week, what's his name? Bishop Harris. And Mr. Pendelton. I'm sorry. Their issue was they were afraid that you opening up this.
No, that's not my issue. No,
it wasn't yours.
That was LeVar's.
That's not what I said.
Well, Pastor Harrison,
that was LeVar.
He was afraid that opening this up, it really negated the fact of guidance. Guidance was nowhere. Who was guiding these people once you open this up? So that was what his fear was, which I didn't understand why that is a fear.
Well, okay. So understand though that when we're listening to people talk, you have to listen to. When you're listening to people talk, you have to identify who they are and what type of environment that they've come up in. And if you see somebody, especially somebody with a title, understand that they always expect there to be a hierarchy and a rank. And there's always going to be somebody doing a leading. So there's always going to be a position. So he's automatically gonna. The first question is, if you're going into this new unforeseen realm, who's directing you and guiding you? Are you just there? Are you figuring this out on your own? So as a bishop, that's his first thought process, is that these people are going in, and I'm assuming that he's saying that they unsaved. If his question is who's guiding them, because if we are saved, then the guidance will be the Holy Spirit.
Well, if the question was about whether or not Jim Carrey was saved, that I get.
Okay.
But this was just an interview. The interview wasn't about his faith.
It's irrational.
Right.
I saw the video.
Together.
I saw it.
But it was chopped up. You saw the whole
Well, no, I saw Jim Carrey's interview.
Well, all of it was still what you saw. He stayed the course.
And my statement was he loose on the goose. Like he is toe up. Something must be wrong with him. But after seeing after seeing his interpretation of what he assumed, because he doesn't know, he didn't have a relationship or he didn't interview. That was his perspective. Right. His perspective, though, made a lot of sense to me.
Because it could just be he's in the infancy phase of this belief system. And what I said last week was, I think the language that he chose to use was off-putting to people, specifically
especially religious
from
people.
The church, right? People from the church. This man is a trained actor. He's a comedic actor. So he is trained to be as colorful as possible. So his language, I'm not trying to negate what he feels and what he thinks, but I'm just saying his choice of words, his word choice, is what made people like.
Well, I don't necessarily believe that the perception that Prince developed is a true explanation of what Jim Carrey was saying.
It sounded like
it doesn't sound like it was a true interpretation. He has a good theory. He has a great theory, but I don't think that if he talked to Jim Carrey would be in agreement to what he was saying.
Well, see, the thing is, Jim Carrey, the only clip that he used was basically Jim Carrey saying there is no me.
Right.
And he dissected the there is no me using Buddha and the other different ancient teachings and things like that.
So, but now, what we have to do though is when we identify, when we're talking about this, we have to talk about it separate, because what Prince said and Prince-A said and what Jim Carrey says, two totally different.
Well, Jim Carrey used it, but he only focused on the there is no me, and at the end he let the clip but he was only talking about the fact that he wasn't talking about the spiritual part of it just yet. He was asking the question, then who are you? And that's what we left off on last week, the who are you part. And
I just put on Facebook that I am elder.
You are elder. Okay. Listen, I went to see my grandmother today, and me and my cousin was there. Q was there, and we had this debate, and he continued to, I am this, I am that, and I am, his words were, I am the essence of sunlight or sunshine. I mean, like, it's this, all of these different things. But at the end of the day, whatever you put in that place at the end of the sentence of I am, whatever noun or whatever you use, that does not define who you are. And what Prince EA was saying is you can't be the subject and the object at the same time, because you take ownership of whatever that thing is. So last week Bishop Harris said, I'm a funny black
short
man.
Black dark-skinned preacher.
Right, okay.
Did he say all that?
So he said a lot. And he added Henri.
Yeah, I feel like he added some Henri to it.
But that's what I'm saying. So once
he
you
said
say,
a short black funny preacher. That's what he said.
But any of it, but whatever he said, he's saying I am short, I am black, I am funny. All of those things are descriptions of a personality.
Yes.
In his character.
Characteristics.
But the first thing is I. That is the ownership. So that means you take ownership of all of these things that you say that you are. So who is that person instead of being the sum of just your personality? Because once those things, and if those things ever leave, what happens to you? And
you'll always be
you're
short.
Still gonna be.
He'll always be short.
Look, y'all not gonna come from my bestie while he not here.
Hey Tony, first time viewer, thank you for
Sarah
tuning in.
Sarah's
hey,
first
Sarah,
time.
thank you so much.
Welcome
so
to
the question on the floor right now, Tony, Sarah, all of those who are tuning in with us, is who are you? When you think of defining yourself, who are you? Clinton says we are nothing without God. So
Thank
what
you,
now
Clinton.
should we say? Now who is I?
Okay, so who are you with God then, Clinton? Who are you with God? It's easy to say we're nothing without God. So who are you with
because
God?
That's the thing to say.
Yeah, like that's easy. But who are you? You with God.
So here's my statement. Here's my question. I'm asking.
You are asleep.
Here's my question. We're trying to rationalize or make sense of somebody's process. Regardless, that's his process, and so you're trying to say, well, who are you and who are you? And so no matter what somebody say they are, I am this, I am that. People gonna say, well, no, who are you inside, or who are you? And they're trying to, you're trying to get them to pull something out of them that may not be what you're expecting, the response that you're going to expect in return. So a lot of times, I think, oftentimes, I said this last week, you can't argue nobody's experience. You can't argue what somebody feels about themselves. You can't argue what somebody's faith is. You can't argue that because that's their own personal thing.
Well,
and so
but you didn't put that to the man in the church.
No,
listen,
I didn't do that.
You laughed.
I did not.
You laughed. Let me just use before we go further because I don't want to forget what you just said.
Right.
You laughed at saying, he said, I believe in personalities and fragrance in the air. You said this over and over again, right? Because we laughed at that.
Believe.
But what I'm saying to you is, I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying that what you're naming, I am this, I am that. You're saying that you will never, because people will never, then you're going to say, who are you? All of those things are personalities. And nobody is naming who they are. So you're naming personalities.
But that's why God described But that's why God described himself as I am. I am
exactly.
that I am. Because
that is the scripture that I used today with my cousin. I said, because if you look at that, when they asked God, you say,
who you say I am?
Who do you, right? And he said, I am.
No, that's Jesus. That's two different scriptures. Wait.
Go ahead.
That's two different scriptures.
I was talking about
that's two different scriptures.
I was giving you another scripture, but go ahead. I'm just
using it flat out when he said, "I am the I am." There's nothing that was placed. There's no one thing or no, because it's all things.
He's all things.
That's what God
Jesus
said to
asked
Moses.
his disciples, "Who do you say I am?"
No. We're not talking about Jesus.
Right.
This is what.
I'm always talking about Jesus.
No, we're not talking about Jesus. We're talking about when Moses went to God and asked and he asked, "Who should I say sent me?"
That Moses is burning. God called for Moses out of the burning bush.
And God said what to Moses? Who sent God? Who did God?
He says, "When they ask who sent me, tell them I am that I am."
Thank you.
So wait a minute.
So what we're saying is, this is how God described himself.
I was waiting for this one.
This is how God described himself.
That's how he described himself.
So how then do we take the attributes of God and make them who God is. When God said that I am, just since this the point that he exists is enough.
Listen.
But why is that not enough for us? And we hear Jim Carrey say, well, what I don't like about Jim Carrey is he said that we are nothing. I disagree.
Well, okay, listen. Now let's get into that real quick. Because that goes into Prince EA.
We are.
Prince EA.
Yeah, I am.
Prince EA. He uses a house for that. Basically, a house is built, but a house is not made a home until all of those things are put into the house.
I ain't got nothing in my house, but it's home.
Oh my goodness! When a house, he's using the structure of a house. The house is still a house, but it is not a home. It is not made a home. It's the personality it's put into the house. When you make the house home, that's what he's saying by nothingness.
No, let me tell you something. The house can be home when you see it being the shelf being built from the ground up. That's
whatever you shall be seeing, it's still.
I rode past a lot of vacant buildings.
Listen,
that could be home.
We're getting ready to go to the last.
I don't think it's.
We're getting ready to go to the last commercial break, and we're going to finish this conversation. Stay tuned. I can't.
You gotta sing, Nate.
Excuse me.
How long was he over there singing?
For a minute.
I heard him, but I didn't hear him. He was singing for a long time.
Hey, there's my son. You've been in your room all morning.
Hey, Dad.
Matt, what's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Oh, well, it's just sort of.
I have been playing my video games and electronic games for so many hours.
Well, it sounds like it might be time for you to take a break, or...
Hello, Dad.
Susan?
I have been watching TV and text messaging all morning. Yay, electronics. Yay, yay, yay.
Guys, I think it's about time to...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Ladies, are you in need of the best quality hair extensions, a cute outfit, or that perfect pair of shades? Pink Ice products can cover you from head to toe, from flawless weaves to apparel. Visit us online at pinkiceproducts.bigcartel.com. We're located at 3000 Old Alabama Road, 119-303, Alpharetta, Georgia, or give us a call at 470-488-6484. Come on in and check out Pink Ice products today.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
So now we are in reactive mode. You know, with our young people, we don't spend enough time working with them, preparing them, inspiring them, mentoring them. And so now we're faced with a generation that's like, I'm going to do my own thing.
Right.
I have no respect for you. Because what have we done to help them except to say that, like I was telling the HL7, that, you know, I get highly upset when adults forget that they were ever young. And the first thing they say is young people are up to no good. You know, well, you're not helping them. What are you doing to inspire them? Right. So to me, that's reactive, because now that they're in the street cutting up, now you like, oh, we need to do something with our children, or we need to start schools earlier so we can get them off the street, or we need to do this. To me, that's reactive.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
So, we are back. Oh, I'm sorry. They talking about something completely has nothing to do with the show. It seemed like to me. First of all, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I think we're on the last segment. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate those who listen. He goes singing. Y'all so rude.
See, he's trying to.
I thank you because, like I said to them earlier, this is the first Thursday of Grey's Anatomy and How to Get Away with Murder. So y'all could have been anywhere other than being here with me.
I don't watch that.
And I appreciate it. I love Grey's Anatomy and all of that. And Will and Grace is back on. I'm so excited about that. At the end of the day, to me, and I'm not done. Nate just told me to put a blog on here about the what the whole Maslow's hierarchy and how I feel like that equates to the thought process of Jim Carrey. I actually really appreciated what he had to say as far as that, because all that is denying yourself, and that's what we do. You know, for me, I believe that's where it compares to Christianity. You're saying that I don't see us as nothing, but then we preach this all the time. This old body ain't nothing but, you know, and it's going to do back to the dirt. It's going to go, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And that's what we preach. So no, I don't think it's wrong. I'm saying I think that that's where I see the comparison to what he's saying, and saying that we are nothing, and that these personalities and things that we use to describe ourselves is what people actually see. And I really focus on when he say the things that you say you're capable of doing, like breathing and seeing and so forth. Are you actually doing this, or is this happening and you're bearing witness?
But I believe he took the blue pill,
but isn't it
and not the red pill?
Okay, she's
and he's stuck on a trip.
But isn't it? I don't think so.
I really believe that.
It's very interesting to me that the poorest of the poor and the richest of the rich only get this message. I'm not saying only, but for the most part, they get this message because they realize at those extremes that money and stuff and material things aren't important. And really
you can do that because you don't have to worry about the stuff that the middle class always got to worry about.
I'm not disputing that either, because you're right. Because of life, which he says that, you know, well, Prince EA talks about life happening, but the point that he's making is life is going to happen with or without us.
But the Bible says that anyway. Like, I mean, things go on. We can't worry about what happened in the past. We can't worry about what's coming up. We just got to focus on today. We're not even supposed to worry about
tomorrow.
What we put
I agree,
on.
but
that's
why I appreciate what he's saying, because we put so much focus on.
But see, at the end of the day, so I was at a conference and they kept talking about how, you know, we're spirit first and flesh second. What if we're just spirit?
That's what Jim Carrey
said. Like you said, Prince A talked about how we're supposed to be driving our bodies. Did he say that, or did I hear that? Yeah, we drive our bodies as a vehicle. If we adopted that concept, things would be different.
But people are.
But it's easier.
People are getting to that point. What is happening is we're trying to pull them to the world and to doctrine, and those two sides are starting to fight each other. So the people who are stuck in the middle are lost. They're really lost as to what you're trying to say. Because I remember Will Smith talking about stuff like this, and people laughed at him. But he got a higher consciousness because he realized, I got all this money and it don't mean anything.
Well, okay, so what's the rapper name? KRS-One did a video as well to talk about spiritual consciousness and awareness. And what he did was he held up a sign that said Rockstar, the logo, and he said, read it without saying anything. And he asked you, who said that? Who did you hear say that? To help people identify the spiritual consciousness. Like
we didn't get into that, but he did say that. He said, if you're hearing a voice in your head, then you can't be the voice.
Who heard the voice?
Right.
Who are you, the voice, or are you the hearer of the voice?
That's what he's saying. You can't be the subject and the object at the same time. So I mean, the question on the floor, well, what he asked was Jim Carrey, you know, or okay, here you go, not agreeing, but we only got 30 seconds, so it don't.
Because
What? Because we running.
Okay, so this is what we are spirit and 30. We are spirit and man. We are spirit and man. So we have both inside of us. So you're gonna hear there's a spirit of God leading and guiding and directing our path every day. That's in us. That's because of who we are. But then we have the fleshy aspect of us that do things that ain't like God. We have the fleshy aspect of us to do things that is not right. So you can be.
But no. What you're saying is what I was just saying. That's called the super ego. That's the part of your brain. That's the moral part that's leading you. All I'm saying is it mirrors the Christianity part. Listen, we are at the end of our show.
The end of the show
that's why I was
No, we didn't even get into it.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We might have to do an after show when we get out here because I don't think we're finished, but we're done with this. One way to I'm sorry. Well,
like you said, she got somewhere to be.
We still have not gotten to the transgender children.
I want to talk about that.
So, but Jim Curry is done. No, but that's not.
We're not going back into
I want to talk about that.
I think we're going to come back into it. I think because I don't have a show for next week anyway.
Pastor, just chime in. We done, Pastor.
So thank y'all so much. We will see you on next week, and I promise you, we're going to finish this Your Thoughts conversation. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Meet us at the after show.
Next week, same time next week, 8 to 10. Please share.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7
Only
p.m.
in the forest can you see this. Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing.
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show.
Focus on the word take for a moment.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, when I begin to just, think about